You asking me that question, Molly?
Yes, sir.
I hope so. I don't know if it'll be as good as Taylor Swift, but I hope so. Swagoo, Canty, is it just me? I mean, I have no problem. I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to it all. The issue I have is with the title. The Kingdom? After what we saw at the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just asking. I'm just at the title, the Kingdom. I'm sure it's gonna be. I can't wait to watch it. I know the series gonna be great. ESPN, we do our thing with that. It's the title that I got an issue with right there.
Okay.
I mean.
Stephen A., I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you brought up the Super Bowl, because that's really where I want to go when we're looking at the teams like Philly and KC. Which team's more likely to return to the Super Bowl? Swaggo, you kick this one off. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I heard Stephen A. already say the Eagles for me too. And look, the NFC there's less to go through. I still have a healthy respect for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, and you just play the numbers. Like we've seen this era in which Patrick Mahomes is doing it, this is a high-level quarterback era, and he continues to beat these guys, but you just would think sheer numbers. At some point, somebody will get them and represent the AFC. I think the Eagles are still the best team in the NFC. I think the roster is still the best. I think the quarterback is perfect for what they do and playing at a high level, even though people don't want to give him credit. This young defense showed you what they could potentially be week in and week out. So I think the Eagles have the best chance. I think the Eagles still I think they'll be in position to get a first round bye. The Commanders obviously will be a challenge for them, I believe, if Jay Daniels continues to ascend. But Philly, to me, has the easier route because it's less wars and attrition in that conference, man.
Swagoo, everything you said about the Philadelphia Eagles is true, but I will counter with this. It's hard to eat when you're full. And you mentioned all the young guys on the defensive side of the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles. And make no mistake, that is the identity of that team. You're talking about second, third, fourth-year players. The worst thing that can happen to you in football and in life is for everybody to be patting you on the back and telling you how good you are. Your former coach, Nick Saban, used to always call it rat poison. Don't take the cheese. You remember hearing that from him and Bill Parcells? That's what it is.
Yo, coach,
So while I believe in the sports character of Jalen Hurts, you still have to contend with those guys going through an entire offseason with already being crowned as the team to beat. So there is that element. Saquon Barkley, rushed for over 2,000 yards. That's not going to happen again. How do I know that? Because there have been 8 other running backs in NFL history to do that. In the following seasons, those guys have averaged 966 fewer rushing yards. So I'm not quite sure that we can have that same level of productivity from the Eagles year over year. I still think they're the team to beat in their division. I still think they're contenders. But if I got to pick between the two, I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs have a better chance of getting back there because confidence comes from demonstrated performance, and I've seen that group do it every single year.
Demonstrated performance? Philadelphia Eagles been in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. And they just
that ain't the same as 5 of the last 6. Stephen A., that ain't the same as 5 of the last 6.
Yo, are you a Janet Jackson fan? Are you a Janet Jackson fan? I still am to this very day. What have you done for me lately? Okay? I'm thinking about the last 3 years. Don't give me the last 5, 6 years. How about the last 3? Eagles been in 2 of them. Both them and the Kansas City Chiefs got titles to show for it. I'm going to go with that. That's number 1. Number 2, the road to prosperity is a bit more difficult in the AFC, in my estimation. That's what I'm looking at. Can we sit here honestly, CC and Swagoo, and say that there's any excuse whatsoever outside of the Herculean excellence of a Patrick Mahomes? Can we honestly say there's a legitimate excuse for the Baltimore Ravens not to be coming out of the AFC for the Super Bowl this year with what they got on their squad? They loaded. They loaded. We saw Buffalo and what Josh Allen could do. We know what Cincinnati could do offensively and how they could put up buckets like we just said. We can't summarily dismiss Denver right now with the way that they're looking, how elite their defense is expected to be. You got Harbaugh with the Chargers. You got C.J. Stroud and them brothers in Houston. I mean, the road in the AFC is no joke. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm saying, I look at that compared to the Eagles and what they have. I'm like, why would I say Kansas City got a better chance? I can't do that. Can't do that.
Fair enough. All right.
This season here, let me get the guys together. Dominique, did you have an issue in any way with anything I said?
I mean, it's hard to disagree with any of those numbers. I think his career is still very early. You have to mention guys, because most great quarterbacks get to a Super Bowl at least. But I think guys like Warren Moon didn't make it to a Super Bowl, but the numbers aren't nearly the same as what Josh Allen has put up. And, of course, Lamar Jackson's another guy, but he's a current contemporary. But it's hard to imagine that Josh Allen will be kept out of the Super Bowl for much longer, because to your point, he can't do much more than what he's doing.
Well, that's the scary part of all of this. And the reality of it is, look, Warren Moon, through no fault of his own, his NFL career was shortened because the league was where they were at that time, and he wound up having to play in the Canadian Football League for a long time. And Lamar Jackson, whose regular season success has been equal to, if not even greater than Josh Allen's, his postseason performance has been nowhere near what Josh Allen's has been.
Right, and I think when you talk about Josh Allen, you say, he's lost 3 of those games, all the last 3 years, all to the Chiefs. He hasn't lost. You know what I mean? Like, that's the
Rex
thing.
says it.
So
Rex says it all the time. Josh Allen has never lost to Kansas City. Only his team
Your
has.
defense can't keep them out of field goal range with 13 seconds to go. The kicker misses a kick. Like Kansas City is on one of the all-time runs. And that's what Josh Allen has been up against. The Buffalo Bills are good enough to get to the Super Bowl. They just haven't been able to win that one game against that one team, and it's not necessarily all on him.
So the question, Big Swagoo, is this the year? The Bills are favored in every game they play this year. The schedule for teams in the AFC East tends to be a little weaker, at least what we expect it to be as the season begins. Do you consider this Josh Allen's best chance to finally scale Mount Mahomes?
Nope, I do not. He didn't lose to Mahomes last year. It was Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. It's Joe Burrow a few years ago. Listen, Josh Allen is absolutely phenomenal, and you made a great case for him being the best quarterback to never make a Super Bowl. But we always tend to forget that these guys are technically bunched up at the top with Mahomes sitting at number 1. When it comes to Burrow, when it comes to Lamar Jackson, when it comes to Josh Allen. And what happens now is that we were waiting to see if any other quarterbacks enter the fray. This is no indictment on Josh. Josh is the quarterback who's played well enough against Pat, outside of Joe Burrow, who's beat him to win. That's the notch that he has on Lamar Jackson right now. Josh actually can turn the film on and say, you know what? I outplayed Pat Mahomes, or I played to a level where my team should have been able to go and compete to win a championship. We've seen Lamar not play to that level. So that's the one side. But we've also